From rural St. Catherine to school principal and pastor in Phoenix, Arizona. We're sharing this morning the story of Pastor Dr. Venessa Barrett, who joins us. Good morning to you, Dr. Barrett. How are you?
Good morning, Simone. I am great. Thank you for having me this morning.
It's good to be able to talk to you. We always love to talk to Jamaicans who, have left here, who've gone to other pastures. Some people would say greener, but we know differently. To other pastors who've made life, but who are still waving Brand Jamaica's flag very high. And you are one of those folks who left us when you were already teaching. So interestingly, you went to foreign and now you're principal of an institution, but also doing so much work in so many different areas to try to help others with a hand up, not a hand out, but a hand up. So let's talk a little bit first about how you left Jamaica. You had it rough when you were here, Doc.
I did. I started out early being a teacher at a non-traditional high school. I did 9 years, and being there, I felt as if I wanted to explore other options. And so that is when I decided to look into teaching overseas.
Yeah, but even before that, just how you grew up in St. Catherine, you say life presented profound hardship from an early age. You lost your dad early. Your teenage mom, you said, endured public blame for his death. You were given up for adoption with the hope of migration, never materialized. Relatives migrated, you were left behind, missed other opportunities for legal migration, graduated high school, but you got married, you failed your first class when your academic journey started, and so on and so forth. How does one endure setback after setback after setback and still be able to, when you got the opportunity for the teacher exchange program, make it to a different space and place and just rebuild yourself like that?
It was difficult growing up in my community and my mom being a single mom of five. And yes, my father was electrocuted and she was blamed because he was visiting her at her house. And so all of that shaped who I become because I was introduced, early to loss and rejection and the hardships of her trying to help us. And so in that area, that's where she decided to give us up for adoption to our father's side of the family. However, they kind of dragged their feet because she was hoping that we would have gotten the chance to migrate, and that none of that materialized until I became 19 and I met the love of my life, going to college and doing all of that. And so after the whole paperwork thing didn't work out because I got married and they decided they were going to file for my sister and I was kind of left behind, it was very challenging. And so while teaching, my husband and I, we endured a lot of hardship. We got our furniture repossessed. We didn't have any fridge and all of those things. And so in teaching, it was difficult, but I decided that having been introduced to some of these things at an early age, it developed resilience in me. And so I was determined not to allow my circumstances to determine what I became and who I become. And so I decided that education was my way out of poverty. And I started to work really hard in high school, went to college and started teaching. And so I believe it is Carl Jung that formed that coined the phrase wounded healer. And I believe that I found my way to help others who are equally as wounded or was hurting as I was. I'm no longer wounded, but now healed. And so the type of communities that I have been led to in teaching are the alternative settings. I now teach, I'm a principal of a charter school, which help with alternative students who drop out of high school.
Yeah, love a charter school. They're doing really great work in charter schools. So kudos to you for that. But you didn't stop there. So educator, yes, you checked that box, but then you went into all sorts of philanthropy. Did you also found a church? You started a church there? Tell
Yes.
me about your other
So
exploits.
there was a need here as I experienced, sorry, firsthand, just being lonely and not having any community when we moved to Phoenix. And so when I moved to Phoenix, we didn't have any friends, any family, and I started the Women Igniting Fire nonprofit organization. Started having monthly meetings with women, and we just went out. We served in our community, did little things here and there, and we built a strong community. It was from there that our church, the Ultimate Empowerment Church, was formed. Our congregation consists of mainly Jamaicans and Jamaican international teachers who came with their families here in Phoenix. They also don't have family here, and so we've all become one big, great family. We worship together on Sundays and we do other community things. As you'll see some of the pictures coming up there, we were able to give back during Hurricane Beryl, also after Hurricane Melissa. We've always tried to help our community and those that are in close proximity that needs the help.
Yeah. Tell me about Cultural Travel Exchange, which you also founded.
That is a teacher exchange program that I help to recruit teachers, but the main focus is really mentorship of international teachers. I completed my doctorate, and my dissertation was looking into the perceptions of international teachers, their perception of administrators, leadership style, because we started seeing that the international teachers that were being brought to the United States to fill the teacher shortage, they started moving from school to school. So I wanted to look at what was causing the turnover. And so there, out of that, this cultural travel exchange assists and mentor international teachers and those that are struggling in the classrooms, because often we come here and we're just thrown into the deep to go and succeed and figure it out. And because I struggled first and it was difficult for me, I wanted to build a space and a community where I can help and mentor other international teachers and families that transition here.
So you've been away for how long now, Doc?
10 years.
And
I've been
achieved so much in that space of time.
God is good.
When you look back on your journey, you look back at the last 10 years, you look at the years before that, could you ever have imagined yourself being where you are right now?
I didn't, because life was so challenging. Even when I was a teacher, I struggled so much. We live paycheck to paycheck. Matter of fact, the paycheck was not even enough to last. And I see where the Lord has brought me to. I'm going to say that, opportunities were presented to me to advance my education. I got my master's within the last 10 years, my doctorate within the last 10 years, and I've been able to juggle, both being bivocation and being a pastor and helping in my community. It has just been the grace of God. And, I really hope this interview inspires somebody that where you are now, that's not your final destination. And even if you're struggling, the Lord can bring you out of it, because He has. Over the past 10 years, my husband and I, we've worked really hard. We've worked extra jobs, and, He's even blessed us with a couple houses here. And it's just been hard work. People think like there's a secret sauce. I tell them the secret ingredient is just doing the Lord's work, because when you take care of God's business, He takes care of yours.
Can I get an amen? Great way to end the interview. Fantastic. Doc, we are proud of you. Thank you for sharing an inspiring word this morning, because a lot of people are struggling at home and abroad. A lot of Jamaicans leave here for opportunity and can't imagine that they would have ended up in the struggles they're in, but you are proof that we can get beyond those struggles and that great things lie on the other side of them. Appreciate you checking in with us this morning. Say hi to hubby for us, please.
I will. Thank you so much for having me. God bless.
You too, and have a great day at school. Principal and Pastor, Dr. Venessa Barrett. We are made of stern stuff, folks. Jamaicans, we don't break. We don't break. More on Smile after this.